Imagine this. The lights dim, a spotlight shines on a robotic mouse holding a guitar, and the sound of children's laughter fills the air as greasy pizza and arcade tokens change hands. For decades, Chuck E. Cheese was more than just a restaurant. It was a rite of passage, a magical escape where childhood dreams came to life. But behind the flashing lights and animatronic smiles lies a story of rapid rise, fierce rivalries, and crushing financial failures. How did an institution that once ruled family entertainment find itself on the brink of extinction? Let's unravel the fascinating and at times sobering journey of Chuck E. Cheese, from its pioneering origins to its fall from grace. When you think of Chuck E. Cheese, you might immediately recall the sound of arcade games ringing, the smell of cheesy pizza, and the slightly eerie but undeniably fascinating animatronic band. For decades, this chain was synonymous with childhood fun and the ultimate birthday party experience. However, beneath the nostalgic charm lies a story of rapid rise, fierce competition, financial missteps, and a fight for survival. Once a trailblazer in family entertainment, Chuck E. Cheese now struggles to maintain relevance in an ever-changing world. How did this once beloved icon of childhood fall into financial turmoil? Let's dive into the fascinating and turbulent history of Chuck E. Cheese. The birth of a unique concept. Chuck E. Cheese was the brainchild of Nolan Bushnell, a man already legendary for his role in founding Atari. In the 1970s, Bushnell recognized a gap in the market: a family-friendly venue where kids could enjoy video games without the stigma of traditional arcades, often associated with bars and adult spaces. His vision was to create a safe, entertaining environment where families could gather, eat pizza, and play games. A novel idea at the time. In 1977, Bushnell opened the first Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater in San Jose, California. The concept was a hit. Families loved the combination of food, games, and entertainment. The animatronic characters, led by the charismatic mouse Chuck E. Cheese, quickly became a major draw. Interestingly, the mascot wasn't always intended to be a mouse. Originally envisioned as a coyote, a mix-up with the costume supplier resulted in a rat costume instead. Rather than start over, Bushnell pivoted, and the now famous Chuck E. Cheese was born. The name itself was a stroke of genius. Bushnell wanted something that would make people smile when they said it, and Chuck E. Cheese did just that. The unique blend of pizza, arcade games, and animatronic shows proved to be a winning formula, and the concept quickly gained traction. Expansion and rivalry. The initial success of Chuck E. Cheese led to rapid expansion. Locations began popping up across the country, each replicating the model of pizza, games, and animatronic entertainment. However, success also attracted competition. Robert Brock, a Chuck E. Cheese franchisee, decided to break away and create his own chain, ShowBiz Pizza Place. The rivalry between the two chains became intense, with both vying for dominance in the family entertainment sector. Both Chuck E. Cheese and ShowBiz Pizza expanded aggressively, often opening locations in less than ideal markets. This rapid growth led to financial strain, particularly for Chuck E. Cheese. The early 1980s saw the video game crash of 1983, which significantly impacted the arcade business. As video games became less popular and consumer interest waned, Chuck E. Cheese found itself struggling to stay afloat. By 1984, the company had filed for bankruptcy. In a twist of fate, ShowBiz Pizza emerged as the stronger entity and acquired the assets of Chuck E. Cheese during bankruptcy proceedings. By the early 1990s, the two brands were merged under the ownership of CEC Entertainment, with all locations rebranded as Chuck E. Cheese. The Golden Era. Following the merger, Chuck E. Cheese experienced a period of stability and growth. The 1990s and early 2000s were the brand's golden years. Birthday parties became a cornerstone of its business, generating significant revenue. For many children, a birthday celebration at Chuck E. Cheese was a rite of passage. The animatronics continued to delight younger guests, while the arcade games attracted older kids. Chuck E. Cheese became synonymous with family fun, and its locations were often filled with the joyful chaos of children running between games and pizza tables. The chain's all-you-can-eat pizza buffet and ticket-redeemable prizes became iconic features. During this time, the brand's popularity soared, and it was a fixture in American culture. Challenges in a changing world. Despite its success, Chuck E. Cheese began facing new challenges in the 2000s. The rise of home gaming systems like PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Wii meant that kids no longer needed to visit arcades to play video games. At the same time, new entertainment options such as trampoline parks, escape rooms, and indoor play centers began competing for families' attention. The animatronics, once a technological marvel, started to feel outdated. In an era of cutting-edge graphics and virtual reality experiences, the robotic movements and dated appearance of Chuck E. Cheese's characters struggled to capture the imagination of modern audiences. Attempts to modernize the brand, such as introducing a hipper, guitar-playing version of Chuck E. Cheese in 2012, were met with mixed reviews. While some appreciated the update, others felt it strayed too far from the original charm. The debt spiral. One of the biggest challenges Chuck E. Cheese faced was its financial structure. In 2014, private equity firm Apollo Global Management acquired the chain for $950 million. While the deal provided the company with much-needed capital, it also saddled it with over $1 billion in debt. This financial burden left the company with little room for error. Revenue generated from operations was often diverted to service the debt, leaving limited resources for innovation or expansion. Chuck E. Cheese's leadership tried to cut costs wherever possible, but the debt became an ever-present obstacle. Even as the chain introduced new games, revamped menus, and updated facilities, these efforts were often overshadowed by the crushing weight of its financial obligations. The pandemic's devastating blow. The COVID-19 pandemic delivered a devastating blow to Chuck E. Cheese. The chain's business model, heavily reliant on in-person dining and entertainment, was ill-suited to weather the prolonged closures and social distancing measures. While some restaurants pivoted to takeout and delivery, Chuck E. Cheese's reliance on arcade games and birthday parties made this transition difficult. In June 2020, CEC Entertainment filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, citing the pandemic as the primary factor. However, the reality is that years of declining sales, mounting debt, and a failure to adapt to changing consumer preferences had already put the company in a precarious position. As part of the bankruptcy proceedings, Chuck E. Cheese announced plans to close 34 underperforming locations and restructure its debt. The struggle to modernize post-bankruptcy, Chuck E. Cheese made efforts to modernize its brand and attract a new generation of families. Locations were remodeled with sleeker designs, updated arcade games were introduced, and the animatronics were gradually phased out in favor of live-action performances by costumed characters. The introduction of a Play Pass system replaced traditional tokens with reloadable cards, appealing to tech-savvy parents and children. Additionally, the chain began exploring digital initiatives such as virtual birthday parties and online games to stay relevant in a world increasingly moving toward digital experiences. These efforts demonstrated a willingness to adapt, but the question remained whether it would be enough to turn the brand's fortunes around. Chuck E. Cheese's cultural legacy. Chuck E. Cheese holds a unique place in American culture. For generations, it has been a source of joy and a nostalgic memory for millions. Its story serves as a case study in the challenges of staying relevant in a rapidly changing industry. From its pioneering days under Nolan Bushnell to its struggles in the modern era, Chuck E. Cheese's journey is a testament to both innovation and the perils of complacency. Whether it can reinvent itself for a new generation or join the ranks of beloved but bygone brands remains to be seen. One thing is certain: the legacy of Chuck E. Cheese is as enduring as the childhood memories it helped create.